Are you tired of crypto FUD? Okay, you've come to the right place. I'm going to give you NASDAQ FUD instead. We need to start taking the stock market seriously. I said that 3 or 4 days ago. Guess what? We need to double down on taking stocks seriously. What's wrong with crypto? Nothing. Really. Absolutely nothing. And if you want to hear more about that, then stay right here. Now, we got to be careful of the cringe. There is some cringe in crypto. We need to be careful of that, and we need to adjust altcoin bags appropriately. So it's not FUD, but it's a position adjustment. Patreon and YouTube member area have got the whole spiel, but I will give you the general direction today. Do not get depressed. Get ready. Get ready, because something's going to happen here. I don't know what, but it's going to create a low that will be glorious. It will be painful, but it will be glorious in terms of the opportunity that's there. Seriously. And you need to hear all about it, pretty much starting with some of the cringe. Now, just as a brief announcement, I am up for Best Small Channel Award. You can vote. You don't have to click on anything. I'll show you the links, but you don't have to click on anything. You can scan this code. This is what I have to say very briefly, and then we will get to all the content that you need to navigate this market. Every single person who watches this show, every single person who hits the like button, every Spartan, every ninja, everybody needs to vote, period, because this would help the channel. I could get a sponsor, and we could kick some butt and take names. You want to make it better right there. The QR code, the link is in the chat. The links are down below. They have featured me in the video attached to the thing, attached to the announcement. Vote for these people. They've got me featured in the video. So we got to do this, people. We got it. I need you to help me so I can help you. Okay, now let's begin with a brief screen share. Okay, so the super smart guy that I know wants to buy S&P at 666 back in 2008, and he wants to sell at 6,066, and he feels so strongly about it that he made his Twitter banner. Just Dario, another super smart macro guy, says the bubble is on the brinks of collapsing, but markets are still ignoring the risk. Yeah, not good. And as a reminder, this isn't about Warren Buffett's retirement. He has a huge amount of cash. 1/3 of his company is in cash, and none of it is in portfolio companies that caught the AI bug. None of it. Fun fact, when Warren tends to underperform, meaning he sells when everything is going up, every single time when everyone is desperate fire selling and getting out, he is shopping deeply undervalued stocks at bottom valuation. And in the event you don't understand any of that, on Friday, I was inundated with calls that a bear market had begun. Bear markets don't begin like that. Those of you who made these calls vanished into the ether this afternoon. So Jim Cramer thinks the stock market's not going to go down. And again, the man has made a profession out of being wrong. Okay. So the stock market is Dunsky. Is an accident going someplace to happen. Period. End of story. No denial. My father used to say every big mistake starts with denial. We cannot be in a denial about equities. It's an accident going someplace to happen. Now, how does that affect crypto? You got to stay and watch the video. I will explain it to you. Now, let's begin with the economy. Ray Dalio just put out another piece that said he would fire the Bureau of Labor Statistics head too, because the guy running the Bureau of Labor Statistics and that whole organization has been producing fake or inaccurate numbers or both for years. Brandon's entire administration, most of their methods are outdated. It's not a true picture. So if the orange man lets the guy go, he's going to walk into the office, open up the books and go, Now, they'll do that, and they'll definitely do it because they'll be able to blame Brandon for everything that happened, or any labor market weakness, or inflation higher than expected, or see all of the above. But the stock market is not going to like reality. Not at all. Not even a little. And of course, in the VIP podcast this morning, Toby laid it out, and we looked at the charts as to how far it can go down and possibly how far it can wick down. Oh, nasty. Okay. Stock market has a problem. Now, does that affect altcoins? Yes. You need to get your bags adjusted. If you're dating it, break up with it. If you're married to it and you can live with a decline, then live with the decline. It's okay. But don't sit there and pretend that this is not happening in NASDAQ, because it is. It is happening. Now, part of the laughability of all this is that these nincompoops in equities are selling the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. So it's like 1 week of booga, booga, booga in crypto, everyone is out. But they're buying Palantir. Let's buy Palantir on earnings. Let's buy, wait till you see his chart. Let's buy everything when it gaps up on earnings. It's clearly a blow off top. Why? Are they ever going to get smart over there? The answer is no. The answer is when they get an herbal enema on their positions, because that's what's going to happen. That's seriously. When that happens, it's going to be the dawn of Bitcoin. It's going to be the dawn of ETH as finance. It's going to be the dawn of ETH and possibly Litecoin as not only ETFs, but as forms of money. The dawn of crypto is coming in the next 30 days. Okay. And in order to have, you ever hear the saying, it's always darkest before dawn? That may apply here because of NASDAQ. So I know there was a guy on Twitter, and God bless him. He's like, Bill, I can't take any more FUD. Okay. I'm not trying to FUD crypto. I'm trying to prevent losses in crypto when this NASDAQ thing happens, so we can just stand down there like we're under a waterfall, hoovering all this up as these nincompoops sell like the Bitcoin ETF. They're selling Bitcoin, they're selling ETH. It's so stupid. So stupid. It's unbelievable. Now, if crypto does have a problem, there is some cringe going on here. Okay. Somebody wants to IPO, a crypto company wants to raise $629 million in an IPO, I believe, for the express purposes of buying crypto. Now, I know I was big on crypto IPOs, and I still am. However, if stocks get monkey hammered, Toby laid it down this morning as could what can happen to like ETHzilla. And everybody who I've been saying all along hasn't taken any tweet at all. None. In other words, they think this is all easy, right? Like Litecoin hits a 5-month high. Now, I love Litecoin, but when Litecoin outperforms, the market gets smacked, and that's still the case, right? Again, major cringe. Bitcoin treasury companies add 630 Bitcoin, right? As the ETF is going down, right? I mean, exit is 465 million coming out of the ETH ETF. Guys, still talking about 148. A lot less talk about 10,000 ETH, but I'm seeing a lot of thumbnails on YouTube. We research all this stuff now so we can jump on trends, so we can be the best micro channel, right? So, we have to research this. And Tom Lee, the guy who's talking about 15,000 ETH, is everywhere. He's everywhere. Altcoin Daily. Everybody got a picture of Tom Lee on their thumbnails. Yeah. We have a little bit of cringe going on at the top. More than a little cringe. Now, when you have, people engaging in too much FOMO who have never taken heat, it can be the best thing that happens to crypto if there is a purge of weak hands or if people hedge and don't get it right. Okay. It's a good thing. So one guy's like, and I love him. I respect him for comment. He's like, Bill, no more FUD. I can't take it anymore. It's not fudge. It's not FUD. It's like, you know, it's a cleanse. It's a juice cleanse, right? Because after you've done your juice cleanse, you got massive energy to go higher. Now, are we doing the juice cleanse sooner rather than later? That would be in the YouTube member podcast. And I have discussed August, Rectember, and Rocktober. So we're going to see which is which. We've already talked about it. If you're not listening to the podcast, you're crazy. I'm going to do the best I can to help you. Now, more cringe, because we have to understand what's going on here. Breaking, Michigan Pension Fund announced to buy $10 million worth of Bitcoin. So I didn't want it at 77, but at 113, 116, it's much more attractive, right? MEI Pharmaceutical to borrow $100 million to buy $100 million of Litecoin. Can I hide under my desk? It would kill the stream. But can I hide under my desk? A pharmaceutical company is buying Litecoin? I have no problem with buying Litecoin, but we didn't want Litecoin like 3 months ago. Now we want it. Bit mining buys 27,000 SOL. Are you seeing? Is there a trend here? Are you seeing a lot of people buy? We transacted 7% of the total Bitcoin supply above 116. Have you noticed we can't get back above 116? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, look, don't you know what? The messenger. Don't throw stones at the messenger. This market is telling you the cringe is unbelievable. The cringe is unbelievable, right? And a lot of times we have to stomp that out. Like Coinbase plans to raise $2 billion. Okay, fair enough, right? In other words, there's so much FOMO in equities for crypto stocks. Coinbase is like, well, we got to take advantage of this FOMO and issue paper. Well, boys, you better hurry up. You better hurry up. Because when this mess goes on in NASDAQ, it is going to affect crypto equities, and you need to be advised of that. I do like the crypto. I do like the treasury stocks, and I do like crypto stocks. But please do not pretend that crypto stocks are going to be immune if every mechanized hedge fund hits the red button. Okay? Every big mistake starts with denial. Do not get wrecked. Do not get shaken out. And even if it's just up and down, up and down, up and down, which again, if you want to know which month that's going to occur in, you need to watch the YouTube member podcast where we explain to you how this is going to go down. But if NASDAQ gets cracked, you may need to adjust your position or hedge now. And even the XRP stuff has a little bit of, right? Will XRP rally 70%? Okay, you want XRP to rally in 25% increments so it's sustainable. But when everything is about, oh my God, we're buying all this crypto. Oh my God, it's going up 7% as NASDAQ is going, okay. No. Okay, I love it when we're all buying crypto, but hopefully everyone who likes it at 113 still likes it at 108, right? Because again, once the beast gets loose, you don't know what can happen. We don't think there's obviously not a problem with Bitcoin, right? If everybody sells everything, Bitcoin will be the first thing that comes back, right? Now your altcoins, okay, if you're in a low quality altcoin, you're going to get married to somebody who's going to sit on the couch and gain weight, and you're not going to be very happy. You're not. So just make sure you have the right stuff. Now, for the all-important item of today. This is the page, which the link is up here. You can scan the QR code to get there, or the links are down below. Now, here's the challenge for the Spartans, right? This is the Web3 Influencer Awards, and you have to scroll all the way down, all the way down to the Little Influencer channel, where they were nice enough to put Crypto Noble, that's me, at the top of the list, or at least the promo list. Then you will click not Crypto Noble, you will click Vote Now. That will take you to a Google Doc, which you may not want to click on because that's why we have the QR code. But the Google Doc is in the links below. And then to test your mettle, you scroll all the way down again, past all the big boys to get to Best Micro Channel. And you can see how much competition I have here. Like Rice TV is the real deal that I know of. Debate Crypto is the real deal. They won in 2022. Mind Your Biz is one of the best guys in the business. So it's not like I don't have competition here. I certainly do. But there is the button, right? That's how you click the button. That is the button. Okay. So I need everyone's help on this. And believe it or not, they're actually trying to help me. They actually featured me in the video for the award for the small channel. Right? Here it is. Hey, do you recognize that guy? I recognize that guy. Right? And I am up against younger. That's why I need the Spartans to turn out. If you watch this show and if you don't want to click on anything, the tweet that's on my page, you see where it says vote here, the Web3 Influencer Awards. Okay, that's how you get to it. Okay, that is the end of the big shill. The vote is counted and the award is done on Friday. Okay, now, TA that you need. I need you so you get lots of TA today. Okay? So let's talk about NASDAQ. Now, when it comes to NASDAQ, what did we talk about? Let's review. So when you have a decline in equities, the way they unfold is there's an initial down move. And retail buys the dip. Hedge funds get all short down here, and then it rallies. Most of the time, it rallies to the 76% retracement, which is this blue line. And wouldn't you know that that did not happen? They could not get to the blue line because they ran into LuxAlgo resistance. That's the pink line. And if you can see it, this 4 is an AI machine learning that, says this is a powerful sell signal. That's what a 4 means. And in NASDAQ, I would not be surprised, not at all, to see him do it again. So you have a down move, and then you might go back to the 62% retracement, or you might go all the way back up here and test the pink line. I don't know. But if I see down, up, down, up, that, ladies and gentlemen, is an accident going someplace to happen. Make no mistake about it, people. This is going to happen. It's not fun on crypto. Crypto is the future. You want to hear about cryptos? If you want to hear the best crypto pep talk ever, Toby Ward gives it to you on every YouTube member podcast, and it never gets old. Never gets old. And we had some very outside the box work where I put the GAN model together with some of her sort of like woo stuff, and it was killer. Like, we know where and when the bottom is, so you need to check that out. Okay, now, in the event that, in the event that you actually like anti-nausea medication, here is Palantir. Oh, yes. And what can we say about Palantir? Well, let's just say they're not human friendly. The guy running it is not pro-human. This is Skynet. This is Skynet in the open. Everybody else is like, oh, let's do Skynet, but let's be quiet about it. No, this is Skynet. Wow, look at this. Good earnings today. Boom, right into the premium zone. Cramer thinks it's going to 200. He's like, well, it was 50. I said it was going to 100. When it was 100, I said it was going to 150. And now it's going to 200. Okay, Jim. Okay. Yeah. And we're going to buy this and not crypto. Okay. There's a problem with crypto. Really? Really, huh? There's a problem with crypto. They are buying Skynet and leaving the entire decentralized universe at discount prices, and they're leaving us at the mercy of NASDAQ. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. I just can't. I mean, it just makes me want to puke. Even NASDAQ is at its premium zone. And again, like I keep saying, look at the trajectory higher. Like this whole thing could get unwound like that. Just like that, right? The $25 group in Patreon is 6th Street Crypto and reports. Toby is in the $49 group on YouTube. We're on 2 platforms in case one shuts us off, right? Toby is in the YouTube area. Come on and join us. Don't get wrecked. Find the bottom and make tons of money because the generational low is coming. Whoop, did I let that slip? Well, I think I let that slip out. I always get in trouble for that. Okay, ETH, let's review. Because this, you need to understand. Like, no joke. You need to understand it. Now, this is the 89-minute chart of ETH. Okay? So, I guess we can say ETH went down here, and then it retraced to 76%. Right? And then ETH went down again and got close to 76%. Now, if ETH goes down and retraces, it's already done a 38% retracement. If you see ETH take out 3,400, 3,500, you need to get to the chopper. Right? In other words, ETH has been outperforming. There's absolutely no reason on God's green earth to sell ETH, just like there's no reason on God's green earth to sell Bitcoin. But crypto has always been what they call the canary in the coal mine. Coal miners back in the day used to keep a canary around if there wasn't enough air or there was poor air quality. They would use the canary. So if the canary died, they knew they had to get out of there. Okay? So again, not liking this in ETH at all. At all. Okay? Bitcoin is somewhat similar. In other words, believe it or not, as painful as it is, crypto is actually moving ahead of equities. Crypto's chart, down 76%. Down 50%. Don't get caught in this. Don't. Because this looks just like equities back in the day. And I don't want people getting caught because this level of FOMO is ridiculous. It's back to, Skynet, right? I can't believe they actually broke the trend line and came back and retested it. Going to be very interesting to see how this thing, this sludge reacts in the morning. Okay, Litecoin. Love Litecoin. Love Bitcoin Cash too. However, when Litecoin outperforms, right, it goes to the premium zone and then the market goes not good. Okay. Now, let's take a brief moment to review what I call analog pattern match, where I explain to you how this is probably going to transpire. So PowerPoint returns. Obviously, if you like PowerPoint, you should hit the like button. And you know what? If you happen to want to go to web3influencerawards.com, click vote now and hit Crypto Noble, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Now, this is an analog pattern match, meaning a computer says, here's the last 90 days. Give me, a match. So this red line is the 90 days of NASDAQ. This is a match of 97% quality. Let's do it that way. And as you can see, NASDAQ is a wee overdue for a smackadoo. Way overdue. Like this, like it's going up when it should be going down. So how is that going to get resolved? It's not crypto FUD. What you need to do is make sure you're long the right cryptos, especially when NASDAQ does its thing. That is the point of the show. That is the point of the TA, right? When can I grab it? When NASDAQ does its thing. Does this have anything to do with crypto? No, right? All risk assets move together on the first heave. But after the first heave, again, you should really watch the YouTube member podcast. Now, all right. So other pattern matches have this looking just like the top after the orange man dumped on everybody with his meme coin, right? The recent rally in Bitcoin looks just like the November rally, and a top could ensue, blah, 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 right? ETH looks the same way, okay? So does Solana. Solana is actually kind of scary as to how much it matches. This is actually a match from April. All right. You don't need any more FUD. So let's talk about how this is going to go down. So this is a qualitative process. You get a bunch of matches and you have to decide what matters. This is a match. It's not the highest match in the world from a 90-day sample. So the red is the last 90 days. And the blue is from 2022. FTX. So I submit to you this. What happens if they just do it all in one day? What happens if NASDAQ is like down 5%, down 5%, down 7%, down 10%, kind of all in 3 days? What happens if we just do it? The numbers are all fake. The stock market's overinflated. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. What happens if the bottom just falls right out? Now, the question is, are you ready for that? Second of all, even though it sounds like FUD, it isn't. Because somebody's saying, Ratchlet says ETH is going to 5K. It most certainly is. It most certainly is. Where do you get the energy for 5K? Well, first you have to wash people out. You have to wash out the Bitcoin treasury companies a little bit, right? Or the ETH treasury companies. These guys need to learn and take some heat. Okay, YouTube letting out some new members, getting loyalty badges, people highly engaged in the content. Moo Ant, Chase Wright, wrong again. Welcome to your free $4 membership. What you need is tactical smarts. Tactical smarts so that you don't get caught. The last thing I want is for my people, whether I win the award or I don't, the last thing I want is for my people to get caught here. I don't want that to happen. Because again, if you're talking about a generational low, which we are talking about, do you want to know who wants to buy at a generational low? Nobody. Nobody. I mean, did you want to touch it after FTX? Everyone thought it was going to 10K. A year ago, it was the yen carry trade, which I'm not going to explain to you because you don't remember. You don't care. You know where the yen carry trade took Bitcoin? A year ago. Seriously, to the date almost. 48K. They sold this market on some legacy thing down to 48K. Now, it just so happens the situation in Japan, simply right now, no one wants their bonds, and that's a huge problem. And one of their banks could have problems. But when you have these legacy debacles, crypto goes down and then crypto comes back and no one notices. No one remembers it. But you don't want to buy. Nobody wanted Bitcoin. No Bitcoin treasury companies like, oh my God, 48K, I got to have it. Even Michael Saylor walked away for a little while. Now, again, we have a question. Patreon has 2 tiers, 25 and 88. That's report-based stuff with a little 8-minute podcast from me in the middle tier. $88 report is very report intensive. The $49 tier has some videos from me, but mainly it's the podcast with me and Toby Ward talking about all things, where the market's going, when it's going. We have an AMA feature on that, by the way, which is undersold. So if you like AMA, we do things with blank coins. We do things with big coins. We take questions. So, you know, this ain't the time to blow off research. I've been saying that for a while. You got to get research and you got to get involved, because I'm telling you right now, you know, the only person I know that's going to be like, oh yeah, it's down. Oh, I don't care. Oh, it's a generational low. Yeah, there's only one person I know that's going to say that, because I'm going to be right here in the middle of it, right? You know, what hair I have left, it's going to be on fire. Some guy said I need a wig. I know I need to get my glasses fixed. I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, market's getting wrecked. I know that. I already know that. I could say a generational low is coming, and I'll sit here and be like, mommy. No one wants to buy at a generational low. You think ETH's going to 5K? You think ETH is going to 10K? Okay, we're going to test you. You're going to get tested. The market tests you. The almighty above tests you until you want to break. That's usually when it turns, when you want to break, when you're about to break. Now, what I'm trying to do, hopefully, is drive home the point about NASDAQ, drive home Toby's point, okay, that, you know, don't get crushed, but drive home Toby's point that this is going massively higher. It's going massively higher. Like, you should listen to her talk about it. I'm serious. You'd be like, oh my God, I can't get bearish. I go on the market update. I'm like, oh, I'm looking at this NASDAQ chart. I'm like losing sleep. I got my anti-nausea meds, She's like, yeah, don't worry about it. You should listen to it. I mean, I listen to it twice a week. It makes the market update better. It makes it better. Now, people are asking me, should I divorce Ski Mask Dog? Okay. Well, we can take a look at this. I'm not divorcing antivirus. The Tornado Cash verdict is coming out. That's a potential huge catalyst one way or the other. I'm probably going to buy it whether it goes down or whether it goes up. Like, if you're looking for a coin and you're going to say, I'm going to buy it if it goes down or it goes up, then you have your answer. You've already answered your own question. If you're asking yourself, should I divorce it? Should I get out of a coin? Okay, well, it depends where you bought the coin. I'm sure your accountant would love it if you took the tax loss. Now, as far as this goes, this has, big influencer behind it. If you're going to keep a meme that you believe in. If you don't believe in this anymore, you're answering your own question. This is building a base, and it's very possible that, they went through the top and they may poke their head through the bottom. That doesn't feel unreasonable. And even if you draw it like this, they go through the bottom, they go through the top, right? They go through the top. They could go through the bottom. Okay. Ratchlet says ZBCN looking healthy. Okay. Well, you know what? I absolutely agree. Like, if I understand ZBCN correctly, and correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, ZBCN feels like DPIN to a debit card. It's what it looks like to me. And, you know, there are things called you can have a one coin market. I've seen one coin markets before. I've seen Avalanche do it. I've seen Sui do it. You know, looking mighty fine. Now, all you have to remember in ZBCN, you know, this could just go up, right? I mean, if we're sitting around waiting for NASDAQ, this could go up, right? This could go up easily. But nothing outperforms forever. You know, in other words, if you're a tactical trader and this goes to, you know, this goes up another 30%, you got to ask yourself, should I take some off the table and buy the dip? And of course, the answer is yes, you should buy the dip. Or if you're married to it and you're holding it and you're not getting out, that's perfect. Perfect. You don't want to, you know, Schwab has the thing, ignore the noise, ignore NASDAQ. Who cares if NASDAQ goes down 15%? ZBCN is going up. Where's ZBCN going to be at the end of the year, right? Block is trending number 3 on DEX tools. Now at $100 million valuation. Ski Mask Dog had a $50 million valuation. That seems pretty robust. You know, it's a nice uptrend. And again, the project makes sense. I mean, obviously it's real world assets. So I don't have a problem with any of this stuff. I'm fine with it. You know, Suncatcher Hawaii. Let's go. Antivirus. Dude, I'm telling you, that Tornado Cash verdict, it's a big catalyst for crypto, right? They're okay with privacy or the orange man pardons him. That's a big deal. Wall Street to Web3, right? I'm looking at a couple real world asset projects. One of them could be a shocking comeback. Shocking comeback. And I think antivirus with the privacy functionality, as well as the McAfee meme, which gets better every day, honestly. You know, they show his clips. They show him, you know, they show him talking, playing the piano, right? Okay, take some ski off the table as I married it. So we covered that. Okay. I think you would probably do block before ski. Ski feels like the type of thing that if they crush the market, if you're holding it, you would average down. So this is the question. Let's do it this way. If you have a position and it went down 30%, if it wicked down on some stupid thing like NASDAQ, would you buy more or would you panic? Really, be honest with yourself. Now, if it goes down 40% on some stupid wick and you would be like, oh my God, I love this. Wow, what a happy day. Okay, keep it. Keep it. Don't get, because who knows? Maybe the NASDAQ decline won't be a big deal. Maybe it's a nothing burger. You don't know. I mean, if I knew the future, we could be doing this market update on my yacht, right? So if it's going to go down 40% and you'll still love it and you'll buy it, well, okay, then you have your answer. Okay, Grandpa Keeter wants to look at Jupiter. And since Grandpa Keeter, and there are a lot of members, like I think we're coming up on a year since we started the YouTube member program. There are a lot of guys who have been OGs who have been here for a year. Bless you. Bless you. We wouldn't be anywhere without our customers. And we're all about coming through for our customers, which is why I got to win that election so I can get a sponsor so this show can get even better. Even better. Okay. Jupiter. Okay. So Solana underperformance is getting disturbing. Jupiter wants to bottom. It really does. Shockingly, the Gann model moved this to what they called sidelined or neutral, which is buy after the problem. Let's go to DeMark because I think the point has been made here. Okay, so when you have Okay, when you have and this is the live TA portion of the show. So this is a 4-hour chart. So on one hand, Jupiter is probably done going down based on this chart. Okay, should be. Okay, there is a lot of support in Jupiter at 42 cents. So here it is. Simple. Jupiter should stop going down and 42 cents should hold. That's it. That's it. Now, you have to ask yourself, if that does not happen, that is a very powerful signal. That's it too, right? It should bottom, it should hold, and then what happens if it doesn't? Right? The accursed failed rally. No. See what I'm saying? Like this. Remember this yesterday? We were saying, oh, great, it's a 9 top, so it's either going to go into a range and you might get a failed rally. And this looks like a failed rally to me, right? No bueno. No bueno. And that's freaking Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin, right? I mean, if Bitcoin has a failed rally, you know there's something wrong with NASDAQ, because who in their right mind would sell Bitcoin? Well, we covered this yesterday, right? Who would sell Bitcoin? Well, I don't know. Whales who have got a lot of profits, who think this thing could go down 80%, which is why everyone's selling MicroStrategy inside of Michael Saylor's company. You know, Solana, 4-hour chart. There's a lot of support in Solana, right? But, you know, you get the 9 top and then it tries to rally and it doesn't. I mean, don't throw stones at the messenger. I mean, if it breaks 160, if it holds at 160, it's probably okay. And hopefully it is. But, you know, ETH, okay? Now, the good news in ETH is this could be a range. This could be like up, down, which is why one of the main themes of the show is don't buy strength, don't sell weakness, right? If you got to get out, do it on strength. Hopefully there is strength, but, you know, this up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, risk models and hedge funds hate this. This makes risk models nervous, meaning hedge funds might have to sell because their model is telling them to sell, because the up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, so XRP goes up. XRP makes 1, 2, 3 failed rallies. 4, actually. Boom. Okay, so XRP is probably going to 281 because that's the best case scenario, that we're just in a range. Jupiter just got to the bottom of its range, right? So XRP on a daily chart, all right, you know, the next 2 up bars could be, you know, perhaps trend enders. So that means that, you know, XRP could go up a lot for 2 days, but that might get sold. Okay. Nothing really going on here to worry about on the daily chart. I think you've also got to look closer. You know, we've been looking at 89-minute charts because we're looking for that up, down, up, down, up, down stuff, which is not good. See, if you look at a 90-minute chart of XRP, you have a head, a shoulder, and a head, and this just broke support. See what I'm saying? All of these tactical charts, you know what I'm saying? It's not what you want. It's not. Okay? Any one protocol. Okay, daily chart coming up. Okay. So with stuff like this, because it looks like there's some kind of like fundamental reversal at hand, you want to see, as best you can, the 62% retracement. The 62% retracement hold, which is 0.629. In other words, if there really is some kind of reversal. They may run the stops through 62.629, but then it should come back. And that's how I would do it, right? If you wanted to get involved in this thing, let them flush it out and let it come back. Let it do a reclaim, right? SJ says range bound till rate cuts. Okay. Probably true. Could be a big range. You never know. But Powell is going to have to cut rates, and NASDAQ is going to force Powell to cut rates. I hate to say these type of things because, you know, you can look really stupid, but I do remember a time period when trade imbalances plus rates that were higher for too long and an overvalued, frothy stock market led to a really bad outcome. Okay, Privix. Okay, all these things at Moon, they all retraced the 62% retracement, right? If it's good, it'll go down to the 62% retracement and hold. Or if they wick it through and it comes back, then you go for it. A brief reminder, not, you know, these things, they all have a mind of their own, right? Own your dividend. Oh, God, privacy. Love it. Okay. Love it. Nothing outperforms forever. So if it's been fantastic, okay, nothing outperforms forever. And you have to be careful of just the market running stops in coins that you know are good. There's a difference between, this is why I said, you got to make a decision. Like, what do I like Steve J. Like, you've been holding DeFi Perp for 3 years. Well, guess what? You're probably not selling DeFi Perp if the market goes down, right? Now, the thing you got to remember about DeFi Perp and just DeFi in general, you know, I really don't mind telling you this, but Toby's been like DeFi. And who knows, maybe she saw the stablecoin thing. You know, if there's a problem with DeFi Perp is that you had like some very epic FOMO, like the green on green here, off the stablecoin thing. It's at equilibrium. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look terrible, right? But it doesn't, you know, it's not amazing. It's not amazing, right? Because, you know, it should have held this neckline and now they're back below it. So this thing's got to get back above 785. And again, hopefully if it's a wick down, that is a huge opportunity to get involved. Privix, we did. Okay. Pengu. Okay. Now, I personally like Pengu because I think they're going to wind up in Walmart at the end of the year, right? I got to make sure I get the right chart for Pengu. There are so many. Maybe the Eagle King can help me with this to get the right chart for Pengu. But, you know, one of the things that goes on in NASDAQ, and we'll go back and do some Ethereum now. Okay, maybe we'll do it on the daily chart. You got to ask yourself, what's the valuation of Pengu? You got to ask yourself, like Ski Mask Dog is at 54 million. That's, I mean, it's not 5 billion, but a meme coin at 50 million, you know, if it doesn't have any support, it could go to 25. I'm not picking on Ski Mask. Okay, ETH. So, you know, if you look at a daily chart of ETH, there really is no problem. Actually, this is a weekly chart. Sorry. Okay, if you look at a daily chart of ETH, this is a good thing to point out. And actually, I heard Novogratz talking about this, and I think he's right. Okay. It's a great point. I don't think I would have thought to make it. Sometimes Mike says or does things that are a little weird, but everyone's like, oh, it's a quadruple top. Dude, there's no such thing as a triple bottom. If it's a triple bottom, it won't hold. And there's no such thing as a quadruple top, right? ETH's got the knocking on the door formation. This is what I would call it, right? Knocking on the door of 4,000. Knock on the door, knock on the door. And, you know, every time it goes down, it comes back. It goes down, it comes back. It goes way down, comes back. You know what? ETH's going to knock on the door 4,000. The only question is how much NASDAQ hootenanny do we have to deal with it? Okay. Do we have to? Oh, I'm not sharing screen. Okay. ETH at 4,000. Knock on the door. Down, down. Knock on the door. Down. Knock on the door. Oh, God. Okay. Down. Knock on the door. Down. Knock on the door. Down. Knock on the door. There's no such thing as a quadruple top. Okay. There isn't. I mean, even if you look at ETH weekly, now again, that doesn't discount. Again, don't look at the long-term chart and go, well, there's no problem. There isn't. But if ETH wicked down 20%, how would you feel? It's a question. I'm not, I'm just saying. I'm not being like, oh, I'm Mr. FUD. No. No, not at all. I mean, I think it's kind of simple, right? I mean, ETH has gone through the bottom of this range, so it went through the top of the range, right? Hopefully it doesn't come back down here, but make no mistake. I mean, this is, on the weekly chart, a consolidation to go massively higher, right? Massively higher, right? If you just, like, where is that going? And look at these ninnies, how it's amazing. Like, ETH was going to zero in April. It was at 1,400. It's going to zero. We've gone from 0 to 15,000. And now maybe we got to just look at 4,000 and the ensuing breakout from this pattern. How about that? Okay. SJ, ETH to lead, BTC to 120K. Yeah, bro. That is exactly what is going to happen. And if you know what, there is no NASDAQ gymnastics, dude, it's going to the moon, which is why I want you to stay with the coin that you're married to, right? Like if you're married, don't get divorced just because it goes down. Don't. Pengu. Okay. So we all love Pengu. Nice rally, huh? All the way back to 3 billion. Impressive. Now, when these things happen, right? You got to ask yourself, what's the retracement going to be? Is it the 38% retracement or is it the 62% retracement? Down here, 0.02. Pengu is worth 2.5 billion. That's robust. I'm just saying, that's robust, right? They took it up here twice. And, the Elliott wave work looks kind of perfect, right? First leg up. Second leg is broad and boring. Third leg up is vertical. Fourth wave is the opposite of the two wave. And the final wave is kind of a buying climax where you can clearly see people distributing at a market cap near 3 billion. Here's some advice. If you're in a coin and you've made money, take some of the money. Pay yourself, right? Because some of this stuff is outperformed, right? I mean, it's just, there's always a bull market somewhere. And, it doesn't hurt to take a little off the table so that you got a little in case it's a mess. You're like, oh, wow, look at all this coin that I got to put back into the market. Period. All right. TX Media is like share screen, dude. I know. At the end of the screen, at the end of the stream, okay, Aaron Mulligan watching the show on a plane. another record holder, along with Art at the Amsterdam airport, and a guy who used to watch it in the UPS truck in Brooklyn. Okay, let's wrap this up. I got to win influencer, micro influencer. 1,000 people watch this show. Roughly 200 people like it. Patreon has, similar numbers inside Patreon between the paid and the free group. Do it. Because if I got a sponsor, this show gets way better. I have like electronic GAN software. I mean, it gets better, 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 better. Next, NASDAQ problemo. Major problemo. You're smart enough to adjust your book. Maybe you don't want to do it now. You don't have to do it now. But if NASDAQ, the first day you have NASDAQ down 3-5%, okay, then the clock's running. Because once that turns, it turns. If it doesn't turn, okay. Doesn't turn, it's okay. But if it does, you need to hear the sound of my voice. You need to hear the Jersey accent in my voice going in your ear, going, hey, do something. Okay, that is the market update for today. We are going to win the election. I will see you tomorrow.